Yeah, that's why I am asking you last time if we can move our schedule. Okay, so if naglalag ako, you can just inform me. So for today, we're going to discuss the definite integral, and I have already presented to you the definition, the formal definition of definite integral, and you say that this is an integral with limits of integration, and that is written of the form integral of f of x dx, yeah, evaluated from a to b, where a and b are element of real number, and these are called the limits, okay? And that is given by capital F of x. You'll no longer see any C here. Instead, you draw a vertical line and then you write A here, and this one is your B. So that is integral of f of x dx evaluated from A to B. This is equal to capital F of x evaluated from A to B, or this is equal to, you replace x by B, and then you replace it x by A, and then you subtract the two results. So that's capital F of B minus capital F of A. For this purpose, again, we will be recalling all the basic integration formulas. We might be referring some examples from the previous session. Okay, allow me to pull it out first. We will be using some example from our previous discussion, 11. Hold on. This might take long. Okay. Say, for example, we have integral of 3x plus 5 dx evaluated from -1 to 1. Okay. uh, so first, evaluate the particular integral. You can apply the various integration formulas. Integral of 3x dx. So this can be written as by the integral of sum -1 to 1, 3x dx, then plus 5 integral of dx evaluated from -1 to 1. And this will give you 3x square over 2. That's the integral of 3x dx evaluated from -1 to 1 plus 5 integral of dx. So that would be x evaluated from -1 to 1. So we are then evaluating the particular integral by applying the basic integration formulas. So the only thing left to do is to evaluate its definite integral. So first, you replace x by the upper limit. So that's 3 halves times 1 square plus 5 times 1. Then you replace x by the lower limit, that's -1. So 3 halves times -1 square plus 5 times -1, and the result should be subtracted. Then simplifying, so you shall have 3 halves here, that's 1 square, that's 1, yeah. That's 3 halves plus 5 minus, this is -1 squared, that's still 1 times 3 halves, okay? Then minus 5. And you shall have 3 halves. You can just remove the parenthesis, plus 5 minus 3 halves. This is minus 5. This is minus, so that would be plus 5. And that gives you 10. So the value of the integral of 3x plus 5 evaluated from -1 to 1 is equal to 5 plus 5, and that would be 10, right? So I might be getting examples from our previous discussion. Then I will just put the limits of integration. It's not showing up. Okay. You can refer to our previous discussion. Where is it? Okay, let me see. See. This is from number 15. Laki pala nito. Sorry. Kaya pala sikip na yung ano. Can you still see kapag ganito lang kalaki yung ano, yung sulat ko?
Yes,
Hello?
bro.
Okay. It's ano consuming sa space. Eh. Okay. So this is integral of x squared dx all over x cubed minus 4 to the 7th power. I will just put a limit of integration. Ha? You recall the process of how you were able to get the answer here. Ano ba? What's happening? Yan. So I will just say it's from it's quite large. Okay, from 0 to 1 na lang. Okay, from 0 to 1. So from 0 to 1 and then 0 to 1. Okay. Then we will not write C anymore. Just going to remove plus C. Evaluated from 0 to 1, evaluated from 0 to 1, evaluated from 0 to 1. Then you recall how you were able to obtain this result. So first, you let u be equal to x cubed minus 4, and then you know that du is 3x squared dx. So you notice on the numerator, there's only x squared dx. So you just remove this 1/3. So you just multiply everything by 1/3. So you have 1/3 du is x squared dx. Or, ang ginawa natin dito, we put 3 here. All right? And then para, we will stick with this du equals 3x squared dx. So you have 1/3 times 3x squared dx all over x cubed minus 4 to the 7th power. This is quite large pala. Sorry. Okay lang. 1/3 evaluated integral of du over u to the 7 from 0 to 1. And then you get the reciprocal of this. Write it on the numerator. So you have u raised to negative 7 over du evaluated from 0 to 1. And then you execute the integral. And that leads us to negative 1 all over 18 times the quantity x cubed minus 4 to the 6th power. Then evaluating the definite integral, so you have negative 1 all over 18 times the quantity 1 cubed minus 4, then to the 6th power, and then minus negative 1 all over 18 times 0 cubed minus 4 to the 6th power. And then evaluating, you have negative 1 all over 18 times 1 cubed minus 4. That's negative 3 to the 6th power. Right? Then this is minus, then that's minus. So you have plus 1 all over 18 times, that's negative 4 to the 6th power. I think we can just factor out 1 over 18 na lang. Para mas man. 1 over 18 times 1 all over, that's negative, by the way. Negative 1 all over 3 to the 6. How much? How many? 3 to the 4 is 81. Yeah, diba? Then 3 square is 9. So that's 700. 7 to 9. That's 729. That's quite large. 729. Then plus 1 all over 4 to the 4 to the 6th power. How much?
4,096.
How much?
4,096.
96.
Opo,
Great.
4,096.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right. So when this is simplified, what happened? It's quite large. Sorry for the numbers. I was not able to notice that one. This is to the 7 pala. I was thinking that this is 3 earlier. Then you can just execute it on your calculator. By the way, hold on. I'll just change my screen. You can use your calculator now. I'll just pull it out here. I'm using a Casio FX 991 ES Plus emulator. You can download this freely from I don't know if there is an emulator in the Google Play. This one. Yun yung ina-evaluate natin. That's in it's integral of we have x squared dx, so alpha x square dx all over the quantity x cubed minus 4, then close, then to the 7th power. And then you just go back to the limit evaluated from 0 to 1. Then you shall have that's around negative 6.26 na 4. I just cannot express it as fraction. Okay, let's do it with the aid of a calculator. So this is 18 times 729 times 4096. So this is 4096 times negative 1. That's negative 4096 plus 729. That's 4096 minus 729. So that's 7, 6, 2, 3. 3 to 67. Am I right? Negative 3 to 67. Yeah. So that's around negative 3 to 67 all over. You just multiply the 3. 18 times 729 times 4096. There one. Okay. We have integral of 2x plus 1 to the third power evaluated from negative 1 to 1. You're just going to use the calculator for your checking, but still solutions are required for definite integral, lalo na kapag examination. I just only teach you how to execute it on your Casio calculator. But then again, during the examination, problem set, quiz, solutions are required for definite integral. You have 2x plus 1 to the third power. Then you go back to the limit evaluated from negative 1 to 1. Okay. Let's evaluate it first using manual computation. So what are you going to do? You can use the change of variable if you don't want to expand. It's written of the form ax plus b raised to n dx. After this, I'm going to teach you shortcut formulas. Say you let u be equal to 2x plus 1, and you know that du is 2 dx. You only have dx here. So you have 1/2 du is dx. You have integral of from negative 1 to 1. This is your u to the third power. Then dx is 1/2 du. Right? Then integrating, you have 1/2 u to the 4 over 4 evaluated from negative 1 to 1. Sir, is it okay? Sir, is it okay po if we evaluate the definite integral if the particular integral is still in u? Pwede ba 'yan? Can we now evaluate yung definite integral niya kapag nasa u pa lang? pwede pa rin naman. No? But you have to look for the value of u whenever x is equal to 1 and whenever x is negative 1. So it will look like this. Instead of negative 1 to 1, you'll have u, say, lower limit, u1, and then u2. So u1 stands for the lower limit and u2 stands for the upper limit. Can I just use lower limit and then upper limit, uu? It's okay. Yeah. No, pero okay na yung 1, 1 eh. 1, 1. 1, 2, sorry. Okay, so you have 1, 8, then u to the 4, evaluated from, so you need to look for u1. So you have u1. u1 is obtained, where's u1? When x is equal to negative 1. Okay, so you have u1 equals 2 times negative 1. This is our u. Okay, 2 times negative 1, then minus plus 1, sorry. And this is negative 1. Right? So from sorry, hindi nagbago, but still it's negative 1. Okay? And then u2, I will just write it here. u2, so that is obtained whenever x is equal to 1. Okay? So u2 is 2 times 1 plus 1. So the new limits are 1 and 3. From negative 1 to 3. All right? And then you now have, I write it in blue, 1, 8, u, 3 to the 4, minus 1, 8, u, negative 1 to the 4. And you'll have, you can factor out 1, 8, 3 to the 4, that's 81. Then minus negative 1 to the 4, that's positive 1. That's why it's minus 1. Okay? And then you'll have 1 over 8 times 81 minus 1, that's 80. So you will have 10. Okay? Let's verify kung hindi sa u substitution. What is the result? That's 1/2 u, 1/8 u to the 4. 1/8 u to the 4. This naman maubos. Ganun. Masyadong malaki sulat ko na. You follow me on the next board. That's 1/8 u to the 4 evaluated from negative 1 to 1. Before you evaluate, so balik tayo sa original function, which is, I think it's 2x plus 1 to the 4th power evaluated from negative 1 to 1. You have 1/8 times 2 times 1 plus 1 close to the 4th power minus. Then 1/8 times 2 times negative 1 plus 1 to the 4th power. This time, before I replace x by negative 1 and 1, I return it to the, I write it back to the original given, yung 2x plus 1. But for the previous illustration, I did not do it. Nag-evaluate ako ng definite integral even if it is still in u function. So, meaning, magkakaroon kayo ng change sa limits of integration. So, you have 1/8 times 2 times 1 plus 1, that's 3 to the 4th power. Minus 1/8 times 2 times negative 1 plus 1, negative 1 to the 4th power. And you see it right here, diba? This is the same expression, 1/8 times 3 to the 4 minus 1/8 times negative 1 to the 4th. And still, this will give you 1 over 8 times 81 minus 1. So that's 1 over 8 times 80, and that would be equal to 10. Right? Let me just introduce to you again to the, naalala ko lang. We have I4, integral of u to the n du. And these are modification of the formula. You can yung mga formulas from the differential calculus na tinuro ko sa inyo, yung shortcut formulas and the formulas that I'm about to teach you, I have several formulas pa to share with you. So isulat niyo 'yan sa isang notebook, i-preserve niyo after 4 years when you're going to take the comprehensive exam, the board exam, you're gonna use it. Hindi naman need ng solution dun sa mga examination na yan. But dito, of course, need pa yung solution. So another modification of the formula is this na. So yung isa, yung du all over u to the n. And I taught you to just subtract 1 from n, write it here, and then oppose the sign, and then you add c. Another modification is that when the integrand contains ax plus b raised to n dx, just like the case of the previous example, 2x plus 1. Okay? And this is equal to 1 all over, you just multiply a, add 1 to n, okay? And then you just simply copy ax plus b raised to n plus 1 plus c. Okay? Another modification is that whenever this ax plus b raised to n is written down on the denominator. Okay? So just like the same thing, you have 1, it's a combination of this and this. You copy a, okay? You copy ax plus b raised to, since this is written on the denominator, you subtract 1. And then you write it here, oppose the sign, and then you add c. Okay? And then another form is that yung form ng x raised to n and ax raised to n plus b raised to m dx. And this is equal to, this is n minus 1. This is equal to 1 all over a n, you just multiply this, all right? And then multiply it with m plus 1. Then you just simply copy ax raised to n plus b raised to m plus 1, whatever is this, write it there. Then you add c. Okay. And another modification is that when this ax raised to n plus b raised to m is on the denominator, you have x raised to n minus 1 dx all over ax raised to n plus b raised to m. Okay, just like what we did here. Yeah, dito pala, sorry. So you have 1 all over a times that n times, since this is on the denominator, you subtract 1. Then you copy ax raised to n plus b raised to m minus 1. Then oppose the sign, and then you add c. Okay? And you can verify this one by using the previous example. Itong number 15. Kunin ko lang. By the way, hindi ko pala ito napindot. Sorry. So that's 10. Na. Ito. Itong number 15. Let's try it. Using that formula. Again, I'm on board number 2. Okay, so in this case, you have noticed that is, i-check nyo muna ha, kung siya baga ay nasa form ng x raised to n minus 1 dx over ax raised to n plus b raised to m. Para magamit nyo itong formula na to. Kasi if this is not written of this form, you cannot use the formula. So check natin. So this is 3. You know that this is 2. So yeah, it follows this form. Okay. So you have A is equal to 1, n is equal to 3, a is the coefficient of x, n is equal to 3, the power of x, and m is 7. And then you have m minus 1, which is 6. And according to the formula, you have integral of from 0 to 1. Excuse. Then, oh, no, why there should be an integral? You have negative 1 all over a n, and then m minus 1, and then you copy x cubed minus 4 raised to 7 minus 1, so that would be 6. Whatever is this, use it as power of your ax raised to n plus b. And then, evaluated from 0 to 1. Okay? So you'll have negative 1 over 18 times x cubed minus 4 raised to 6 evaluated from 0 to 1. And this is the same answer that we obtained earlier. Okay. And another one. Where is that? Not that one. Ito. Problem number 9. Whenever the degree of the numerator or the power of x, numerator tuloy, of x on outside is greater than the power of x inside. Are you still with me? Are you getting my point? Hello?
Yes, po.
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. You recall this one? This is x cubed times the quantity 5 plus 2x squared to the 8th power dx. Again, I am getting examples from the previous lesson. So we solve it this way. We let u be equal to 5 plus 2x squared. Du is 4x dx. And 1/4 du is x dx. And then we rewrite this of the form x squared times the quantity 5 plus 2x squared to the 8th power x dx. Okay? So, and then, yeah. So this is written of the form integral of x, then this is ax raised to n plus b raised to m dx. How do you express this 3 in terms of m? If this is n, what is how do you express 3 in terms of n? If this is your n, okay, say this is the power of x outside, and this is the power of x inside. And you will only use this formula kapag ganito yung form niya. So sa labas, dito ay 2. Sa loob pala, sorry. Sa loob, it's 2. Yung power of x outside is 3. Now, if I change the power of x inside, I'll make it 3. This should be 5. Okay? To make it integrable of this form, of this method. If this is 4, this should be 7. If this is 5, what do you think is this? You're getting my point? Kapag ang power dito ay 4, dapat ang power ni x dito sa labas ay 7 para ganitong technique ang gagamitin nyo. Pag hindi ito 7, you cannot use that technique. Alright? Hello? If this is 3, if the power of x here is 3, ang power ni x dito dapat ay 5. If this is not 5, you cannot use this technique. Hindi nyo pwedeng gamitin ito. Alright? You getting my point? Nagkakaintindihan ba tayo? Nagkakaintindihan.
Yes po.
Ang sinasabi ko is the method and the processes are specific for a form for different forms of the integrand. That's what I'm teaching you, not the example. Not the example, ha? So if the power of x here is 5, so yung nasa loob, so dapat yung nasa labas should be 9. Okay? And then if the power of x inside, if this is 10, for you to use this process, what should be the power of x outside?
15 po.
15 po.
That would be
15 po.
19. 19. Right? You're getting my point. O, sige, halimbawa, bigyan ko na kayo ng isang example similar to this para mas ma-figure out niya. Okay, so you have integral of, say, x to the 5, 4 minus 3x cubed to the 5th power dx. mamaya natin ulit balikan yung definite integral. So you have let u be equal to 4 minus 3x cubed. Okay? And then you know that du is negative 9x squared dx. So negative 1 over 9 du is x squared dx. Okay? So itong x to the 5, bibiakin nyo. So you have x squared, and then one of the x would have power of 3. Okay? That makes you 5. Okay? So ibig sabihin, sir, paano nyo po nakukuha yung combination ng power dito at power down? Ito, aadin nyo dapat yan. So halimbawa, ito ay 4. Oh, so siya ay 4. Ano ba ang derivative ng x to the 4? Eh, di ba 4x cubed? So para ma-integrate nyo siya using that method, using that technique, so dapat ang power ni x dito ay 7. Kasi 4 plus 3 is 7. You get my point? Okay? Hello?
Yes po.
Alright.
Yes po, sir.
Balik na tayo dun sa ginagawa ko kanina. So if that would be the case, so this is what I'm going to share with you para mas mabilis yung process. Okay? So if the integrand is written of this form, integral of ax raised to n plus b raised to m dx, okay? If that would be the case, what would be the power of x here? If this is n, again, if this is 2, siya ay 3. If this is 3, siya ay 5. The power of x here is 5. If this is 4, the power of x here is 7. If this is 5, the power of x here is 9. Okay? So this is 7, 9, 6. The power here is
11.
11.
11 po.
Now, if this is n, how do you express this 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 in terms of n?
2n minus 1 po.
N plus
So,
N minus
yeah, that's n plus n minus 1. That's 2n minus 1. This is 2n minus 1. And then, ito yung i-integrate natin. From here, I will let u be equal to ax raised to n plus b. Sir, what are you doing? I am generating a formula to integrate this easily para hindi mahaba yung solution like this. Although, okay pa naman to kasi madali pa naman to. Okay, du equals an x raised to n minus 1 dx. Bring n down, multiply it to a, x, then you subtract 1 from n. And then, since this is x raised to 2n minus 1, we shall divide it into, you have ax raised to n plus b raised to m, and this x raised to n minus 1 should go along together with dx, what should be the power of x here? That should be n. Okay? Should be n because we factor out x raised to 2n minus 1, and one of the factor is x raised to n minus 1. What's the other factor? Ay sir, ay di x raised to n po, to make it x raised to 2n minus 1. Okay? Then you'll have integral of ax raised to n plus b, that is our u to the m. All right? What is this x raised to n minus 1 dx? From here, you can divide this by 1 over a n du equals x raised to minus 1 dx. So you have 1 over a n du, that is your x raised to n minus 1 dx. And then we need to have x raised to n in terms of u. And you get it from here, So you'll have u minus b, positive b, throw it on the other side. Then you divide it by a, and that is your x raised to n. Okay? So you have u minus b all over a. And everything now is written in terms of u. You have 1 over a n, then this is a, and then you can just throw them out. And I'll just write it here. So you'll have 1 all over a square n integral of, right? You have 1 over a, no. It's u minus b all over a, then u to the m, then 1 over a n du. So when you multiply these two, you have a squared n. And then this u to the m, you introduce it each term inside u minus b. So you have u to the m plus 1 minus b u to the m. All right? You have u to the m plus 1 minus b u to the m du. And you are now ready to integrate. 1 over a squared n times u, you add 1 on its power, m plus 1 over m plus 1 minus b u, add 1, all right? And then plus c. And then you can now introduce this a squared n each term here, and you can now replace u in terms of ax plus b, and we have our generalized formula for this form. 1 all over a squared n m plus 2 times u, which is ax raised to n, plus b raised to m plus 2 minus b all over a squared n times m plus 1, this, and then ax squared, x raised to n, sorry, plus b, sorry, I'll just write it na. Ibababa ko lang. I hope you still can follow. 1 all over a squared n, then m plus 2 times ax raised to n plus b raised to m plus 2 minus b all over a squared n m plus 1 times ax raised to n plus b raised to m plus 1, and then you add c. So, ito yung form na yan. And then, gamitin natin dito sa kulay blue. Okay. You have number 9. So, from number 9, you see that a is equal to 2. This 2. B is 5. Ito yung 5. And then we have n is 2, the power of x inside. X is equal to 2. M is 8. And then you have m plus 2, that's 10. And m plus 1, that's 9. Right? Because we have m plus 2 here, we have m plus 1. And then we apply it here. You'll have 1 all over a squared. That's 2 squared times n. N, where is n? This is n. n is 2 times m plus 2, that's 10. Okay? Then you just copy 5 plus 2x squared. Then this is 10, copy 10. Minus b all over a squared times n times m plus 1 times, copy again, 5 plus 2x squared, whatever is this, use it as the power, and then you add c, and you're done. Okay? Simplify na lang natin. You still get 2 squared times 2, that's 8 times 10, that's 1 over 80. 5 plus 2x squared raised to 10, minus 5 over 2 squared times 2, that's 8 times 9, 72. 5 plus 2x squared raised to 9, and then you add c. And we get the same answer. Right? Okay? Yeah? Yeah, I think it's similar. Yeah. Okay? So again, you will only use this formula. Okay? Use this formula whenever the integrand is of the form x raised to 2n minus 1 times the quantity ax raised to n plus b raised to m dx. Okay? You follow me on board number 3. Question, clarification? Try nyo to. Hold on. Okay. So that's integral of x squared times the quantity 5 minus 3x raised to 3 halves raised to 7 halves dx. You first examine the given if it follows the form x raised to 2n minus 1, all right? The quantity ax raised to n plus b raised to m dx. If this follows this form, then you can use the formula. Okay? So, ang i-examine nyo lang dyan yung power ng excess. So, yung 3 halves at saka yung 2 is 2 equal to 2 times n minus 1. This is correct? No? Diba?
Yes
Okay?
po.
Yes,
Yes
po. So what am I telling you? I'm just telling you that n is not always an integer. Okay? Kasi baka mamaya, kasi sir, dun sa previous example natin, yung n dito, yung power ng x sa loob, laging 2, 3, 4, 5. Then mamaya, pag binigyan ko kayo ng fraction, hindi na tinuro ni sir. So that's what I'm telling you with this example. That n here can be anything. As long as it always follow the form, yung x raised to 2n minus 1 times the quantity ax raised to n plus b raised to m. Nagkakaintindihan tayo? Then can I ask someone to do this in long method? Anyone? And then the rest will do this in with the aid of the formula that we derived. Again, the formula goes like this. Integral of x raised to 2n minus 1 times the quantity ax raised to n plus b raised to m dx is equal to 1 all over a squared n. Can I ask someone to do it? Plus 2, then ax raised to n plus b raised to m plus 2 minus b all over a squared n. More. A squared n m plus 1 times ax raised to n plus b raised to m plus 1 plus c. So in this case, you have a is equal to -3. B is still 5. N is 3 halves. Then you have M is 7 halves. And then M plus 2 is 11 halves. Tama? 11/2. And M plus 1 is 9 halves. Okay? And then you can now put it here. Can you do it on your sheet? And then you simplify. I hope someone is solving using the long process. One. No? Still there? Come on. Equals. Have 1 all over A, that's -3, times N is 3 halves, times M plus 2, 11/2. Then times, you just copy 5 minus 3x raised to 3 halves, and then 7 halves plus 2, that's 11/2, minus B, minus 5, all over A square, A square times N, right, times M plus 1, all right, and then times 5 minus 3x raised to 3 halves raised to 9 halves, and then plus C. And yun na. This is -3 squared. That's +9 times 3. All right? That's how much? That's 27. So 27 times 11 over 2 times 2, that's 4. Then yung 4 na yun, ilagay nyo lang sa taas. Then kindly multiply 27 and 11. So you'll have 4 all over, what's 27 times 11?
297 po.
It's 297 Then you just copy 5 minus 3x raised to 3 halves raised to 11 over 2. Then minus, you do the same here. So this is negative 3 squared, that's 9. Okay, 9. Then times 9, that's 81. Times 3, that's 243. Then all over 4. And that 4, multiply mo lang siya sa 5. So that's 20 over 243 times 5 minus 3x raised to 3 halves raised to 9 halves plus c. Okay? Yan. Kindly verify this if somebody solved this problem by applying the long process or the usual method of integration. Another modification of this formula is that when this ax raised plus b raised to m is on the denominator. Actually, you'll use the same process that I showed to you earlier, and then the result will just be, the terms will be interchanged here. And then you go back with the previous problems last week, and then i-verify nyo yung mga answers natin by applying the generalized formula. Okay? We're just going to leave it as your home exercise.
Sir, tama po, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's modify this. You will be using the same, pero babaliktarin ko lang. And then, again, you apply the same procedure to verify my formula. So, ganito yung nangyari dyan. Hold on. So, if you have integral of x raised to 2n minus 1 dx all over ax raised to n plus b raised to m. So, babaliktarin ko lang siya actually. b all over a squared n. Then, instead of plus, it will now become minus because it's now written on the denominator. So, that would be m minus 1. And then, you just copy ax raised to n plus b, right? Raised to m minus 1 minus 1 all over a square times n times m plus 2. And then you just simply copy ax raised to n plus b raised to m minus 2. Sorry, that's minus 2. And then you add c. Okay? Then let's see kung meron tayong previous example like this form. Nasaan ba yan? Baka wala. I think there's none yan. And there's none. Gawa na lang ako. Okay? Gawin muna natin in long process. You have integral of say okay. 5 na lang. Okay. Verify niyo muna kung siya ay nasa form na ganito. Hold on. No. This is negative 3 lang. x raised to negative 7 dx all over 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1. So here, n is equal to negative 3. Then 2n minus 1 should be 2 times negative 3 minus 1. And that is negative 7. And you see it right there. So nasa form siyang ganito. Okay? So we can employ the same process. No? So again, ang tinuturo ko sa inyo, that the power of x, the n, is not always positive number. Hindi rin siya laging fraction. Okay? So pwede din siyang maging negative as long as it will satisfy this form. Okay? Using the long process, so you let u be equal to 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1. And you know that du is negative 9 x raised to negative 2, right? No. Minus 1 pala, sorry. It's minus 1, right? Negative 9, 3 times negative 3, x raised to negative 4 dx. Hey, am I right? Derivative yan, so minus 1. You're still with me?
Yes po.
Okay, and then what do you see here? X raised to negative 7. So we will break this down as x raised to negative 3, and the other one is x raised to negative 4 that will go along together with dx. And that makes x raised to negative 7. All over 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1 to the 5th power. Right? And then this is negative 1 over 9 du, which is equal to x raised to negative 4 dx. And continue. And then from here, you look for the value of x raised to negative 3. U minus 1 over 3 is x raised to negative 3. Positive 1, throw it on the left side, then you divide it by 3. So you shall now have integral of x raised to negative 3, that is u minus 1, over 3, right? Then x raised to negative 4 dx is negative 1 over 9 du, all right? All over u to the 5th power, okay? And then you just multiply negative 1 over 9 times 1/3, so negative 1 over 27, integral of u minus 1 all over u to the 5 that is left on the integral. And then we will simplify this. So u over u to the 5 minus 1 over u to the 5. Negative 1 over 27. And simplify. At ba ang lalaki na sulat ko ngayon? So that would be negative 1 over 27. And then you have integral of 1 over u to the 5 is u to the 4 minus 1 over u to the 5 du. And then we integrate negative 1 over 27, all right? Then you have negative 1 over u 4 minus 1, 3, then minus 1 over u 5 minus 1, 4, then oppose the sign, then plus c. All right, and then you can introduce 27 each term inside. So you'll have 1 all over negative, that would be positive. 27 times 3, that's 81. U, then you write it back to the original variable. What is that? Ngayon. That's 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1. 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1 raised to the 3rd power. Negative 1 over 27, positive, negative. 1 all over 4 times 27, that's how much? 108. Then u, 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1 raised to the 4th power, and then plus c. All right? Then let's apply our formula. Okay, using the formula, you have A is equal to 3, B is positive 1, N is negative 3, M is 5, you have M minus 1 is 4, M minus 2, that's 3. Am I right? All right. Then, back ko ng konti. So, we'll start at B. Equals B, which is 1, all over A square, 3 square, times N, where N is negative 3, times M minus 1, 4. Then we copy 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1 raised to the fourth power, and minus 1 all over A square, 3 square, times negative 3 times M minus 2. Then copy 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1 to the third power plus C. Okay? And then we simplify. You have this is 1, negative, I think. So, sa ilalim muna ako. 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1 to the fourth power. This is 3 squared, negative 3. So that's negative 27 times 4. That's negative 108. So that's negative 1 over 108. Then minus 1 all over 3 squared, negative 3, positive 3. So this is negative, negative. It will become positive. 3 times 3, 9. 3 squared, that's 9. So that gives you 81 times 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1 to the third power plus C. And I think they are similar. Nagkabaliktad lang ng position. Tama? Yeah? 1 over 81, 3x raised to negative 3 plus 1 cube. And ito yon. And then are ay yun. Okay? Question, clarification. You can explore the same form, itong form na to, pag naandun na tayo sa transcendental, which I'm about to discuss as our next lesson. Okay na tayo? Okay? Actually, there are around 98 integration formulas, but I only memorized 45 of those kasi yung other 43 formulas, they were derived by applying special techniques of integration. I can give you all the formulas. Allow me to do it some other time, but not now. Question, clarification? Okay na tayo dyan? And then I'll go back with it. Okay? I'll go back with the definite integral or dun sa transcendental function. Okay, one more. Balik tayo dun sa transcendental ha. Sa transcendental, sa definite integral. Wala nang number yung examples ko ha. Hindi ko na alam eh. I lost out of count. Alright. Let me see. Integral of dy all over y squared plus 4y raised to the second power evaluated from, say, -3 to 2. What will happen if the lower and the upper limits interchange? Kasi usually the lower limit is less than the upper limit, no? So the upper limit is greater than the lower limit. Let's experiment. What if mas malaki yung lower limit to the upper limit than the upper limit? Sorry. Say this is 2 and this is -1. Could that be possible? All right, sige, let's see. Let's see. Regardless whether that would be large, okay lang, sige. We have calculator naman. Okay? So we let u be equal to y squared plus 4. What is your guess? What will happen if the lower limit is larger than the upper limit? Any guess?
Sir, hula lang po.
Yeah.
Magne-negative reciprocal po.
Magne-negative reciprocal. All right. Let's see later on. What else? Who else? Magne-negative reciprocal daw. Go on.
Sir, mag-change sign po.
Mag-change sign or? Oh, what do you mean mag-change sign?
Halimbawa, mag-ano po, sir, para bang i-multiply ng -1 yung ano.
Okay. So what you're telling us is magne-negative po na.
Yes,
Magne-negative. So ibig sabihin, if ang sagot kapag ito ay -1 to 2, ang sagot po ay +5, pag binaliktad niyo po yan, pag naging 2 to -1, magiging -5. And let's see what will happen. Okay? I have u is y squared plus 4y, so du is 2y plus 4 dy. Okay? So when you factor out, sir, there's no 2y plus 4 on the integrand. Oh, you factor out 2, so that y plus 2 will show up. Du, you factor out 2, so y plus 2 dy. So that means y plus 2 dy is 1/2 of our du. So that's dy. Okay? And then we now change the variable. So y plus 2 dy is 1/2 du all over, that is our u to the second power. And then you shall have 1 over 2, 1 all over u, 2 minus 1, that's 1, write 1 here. So, and then you oppose the sign, and then evaluated from 2 to -1. So equals, so this is -1 all over 2, all right? -1 all over 2, then u, we write it back to the original variable, y squared plus 4y. And then evaluated from 2 to the -1. And then we now evaluate the definite integral. 1 all over 2 times y is -1. -1 square plus 4 times -1 close minus. This is minus, it will become plus. Okay? Because it's minus. The first minus, the -1 came from the formula. Ito -1 din. Kaya siya ay +1. +1 all over 2 times the quantity 2 square plus 4 times 2. Okay? Dito pa lang kita niyo na eh. So, ibig sabihin, if the upper limit is less than the lower limit, magne-negative siya. Again, the definite integral, I mentioned this to you last week, the definite integral has something to do with the area of the region bounded by different curves. Imagine that you are taking, say for example, ito yung region, no? So kapag in the computation of the area, we approach the limit from the leftmost, this is the leftmost, to the rightmost. Ibig sabihin, from left to right. Okay? So di ka naman, pag nagbibilang tayo from left to right, so you're going to the positive. So kapag ka in-approach natin siya from right to left, and that happens whenever the lower limit is larger than the upper limit, nagkakaroon kayo ng negative na area. So nagiging negative yung area kasi you are approaching the area from right to left. Okay? So that means the area will be negative. That means the definite integral will be the negative, will become negative. Yun na lang. So you will have 1, negative 1 all over 2 times negative 1 square. It's positive 1. This is negative 4. So you have negative 3. Plus 1 all over 2 times 2 square is 4. All right. 4 times 2, that's 8 plus 4. So that would be 12. Oh my. So that would be what? Negative, positive. Yeah, it's positive na. Positive 1/6 plus positive 1 over 24. 1 over 6 plus 1 over 24. So you'll have 4, 5. 5 over 24? Ay, no, sorry. 6. Hold on. 24 times 1, 24. 35 pala, sorry. Over 24. 6, 12, 18, 24. And, am I right? Sorry, one more. I'm using butterfly technique. I have LCD is 24. 24 divided by 6, it's 4. 4, then plus 1. O nga, tama na yung kanina. 5 over 24. Alright, so that's 5 over 24. Ibig sabihin po pala, from negative 1 to 1, so ay negative 5 over 24. Kung ang limit ay ina-approach natin from negative 1 to 1, so that's negative 5 over 24. Negative 1 to 2 pala, sorry. That's negative 5 over 24. Okay. Question, clarification. I will now go to I'll go with the first set of the transcendental function. And then from here, dito na lang ako mag-i-introduce ulit ng definite integrals. So again, you recall the derivative of e to the u, that's e to the u plus c, plus c to the u, du. And then derivative of a to the u, that's a to the u ln of a du, derivative of ln of u, that's du over u, or 1 over u du. Okay? Ibig sabihin, if you are referring to an integral, we just integrate the right side. We have I5, integral of e to the u du, I6, integral of a to the u du, I7, integral of du over u. So you have integral of e to the u du is e to the u, and then you just simply add c. So yun. That's the left side. And then, so paano po dito? There's an ln a here. So pwede mo namang ilagay dito yung ln a. So sa result, you can just put it on the denominator. Okay? And then, you just copy a to the u. And then plus c. And then finally, for the integral of d over u, that is just simply ln of u. This is ln of u plus c. Okay. So these are the additional 3 formulas, I5, I6, I7. The first 3 transcendental functions. Okay. And then can you just copy this first on a piece of paper, let it beside you, and so that when I go on with the series of examples, I'll not go back to this portion of the board. We will still be using I1 hanggang I4 ha. Ibig sabihin, we will still be using I1 until I7. I'll start with the very basic illustration. Have integral of e to the x dx, integral of e to the y dy, integral of e to the z dc, and then integral of e to the theta d theta. Okay, following the formula, I5, if I just replace this by x, so palitan ko lang din siya ng x. So ibig sabihin, the integral of e to the x dx is just copy e to the x, then you add c. Integral of e to the y dy, copy e to the y, and then you add c. E to the z dc is e to the z plus c, e to the theta d theta, e to the theta plus c. Now, using this result, let's try to work on, I will now put a constant along with dx. Integral of e to the 2x dx. And this would be, okay, as you can notice, if this is e to the x, e to the y, e to the c, e to the theta, you just copy it out and then you just simply add c. Okay. The point is, as as an obvious observation, you have to look for the power of e, you differentiate that, and try to look if the derivative of that power is inside the integrand. Okay? So ulit, 'di ba ang dati natin, sir, yung pong u, pag mag-a-assume kayo ng u nyo, dapat ang derivative niyan ay nasa loob din ng given, ng integrand. So dito naman, your concern is on the power of e. So you have e to the x dx, the derivative of x is dx, derivative of y is dy, derivative of z is dz, derivative of theta is d theta. Okay? So that's why that gives you a hint na kopyahin ko na lang e to the x plus c, e to the y plus c, e to the z plus c, e to the theta plus c. But what if it becomes e to the 2x? Anong gagawin natin? Kokopyahin ko lang din po ba? E to the 2x plus c. Let's see. So from a change of variable, I will let u be equal to 2x. Okay, again, yung mga formulas na yan, from I1 to I7, they are just pattern. Na? Pattern lang sila. Your goal is from the given, you try to simplify it na? By substitution. So dapat siya ay pupunta doon sa mga formulas presented na from I1 to I7. So you have du here, and then that would be 2dx. What did you see here? Dx lang. So ibig sabihin, you have 1/2 du is dx. So you'll have integral of e to the 2x, that's e to the u, then dx is 1/2 du. You just copy 1/2, and following I5, the integral of e to the u du is e to the u plus c. And then you write it back to the original variable. 1/2 e to the 2x plus c. So there's 1/2 pala. So ibig sabihin pala, sir, kapag nagka-coefficient na yung x, kuhanin mo lang yung coefficient, you take the reciprocal of that, you write it in front, and you're done. And then you just copy the e function. Okay? So take the case of e raised to 3y dy. What do you think is the answer? One-third, yeah. Then copy. Okay. 7. Integral of e raised to 3/2 y dy. That's 2/3. And then copy. Plus c. E to the pi x dx. So that would be 1/pi e to the pi x plus c. Okay, then I will modify the given. Integral of, would that be possible? Yeah. Okay, you try to consider this one. E to the x squared dx. Do you think it's integrable? Again, when I ask you, is it integrable? Then you think of, can I use the basic integration formulas from I1 to I7? If the answer is no, cannot be, not yet, and then it's not yet integrable. Do you have, any thought? Anyone? Can we integrate this? This e to the x squared dx. What is needed? Hey, hello. You still there? Come on.
Hindi pa po.
Hindi pa po. Ano yung kailangan?
X po. Para
X. Why? Why do we need to have x here?
ang derivative po ng x square ay 2x. Then,
Alright. Diba? That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, diba? You have to make sure that the derivative of the power of x can still be found inside. Okay? So, sir, it's 3y. Eh, di ba ang derivative nun is 3dy? Eh, constant naman to eh. So, that's why you can avoid that constant. That's why you just multiply it by 1/3. However, in this case, when you differentiate x squared, okay, that's 2x dx, and you do not see any x dx here. By the way, this can still be integrated with the aid of special techniques called integration by parts. Ito, mai-integrate natin ito by parts. Okay? But as for now, we cannot integrate this since, we only have 7 formulas. Okay? So, this can only be integrated if you have an x here. Okay? So, again, by change of variable, so you let u be equal to x squared, and du is 2x dx. So, what do you see? Sir, x dx lang po. Okay? Then you have du equals 2x dx, or 1/2 du is x dx. So you have 1/2 integral of e to the u, all right? And then x dx is 1/2 du. You have 1/2 integral of e to the u du is e to the u plus c, and then you write it back to the original variable. E to the x squared plus c. Yun pala, sir, oh. Naglagay lang ako ng 1/2 sa labas, and then kinopya ko lang to. Let me see. 5. Integral of e to the x cubed dx. That would be what? Ano ang derivative ng negative x cubed? Negative 3x squared. Eh, ito, x squared dx lang. So, you shall have negative 1/3. Then copy. And then plus c. What did you notice? Is 1/5 e, copy, to the x to the 5 plus c. Okay? 7. Okay? Integral of e to the square root of x all over square root of x dx. Nasasatisfy ba nung number 7 yung form na pinag-uusapan natin? Number 7 pa lang ba? Sorry. 6, 7, 8, 9. This one is 10 pala. Sorry. Nasasatisfy niya pa? Yung bang derivative ng square root of x can still be found inside. I'm not saying na laging dapat nasa unahan, ha. Ang sinasabi ko lang, dapat yung derivative nito can be found inside, whether on the numerator or on the denominator. Okay? We change the variable. So we let u be equal to square root of x. Sorry, which is square root of x? The one as the power of e, yung power ng e. So you know that square root of x can be written as x raised to 1/2. Hello? Knock, knock. You still there?
Yes, po.
Yes.
I hope walang nag-absent last time, yung first meeting natin. As you can notice naman, lessons are integrated and we're still using the formulas that we studied last week na. So you will observe naman, baka mamaya paano ba nangyayari yun? Yung pala absent last time kaya hindi na makakuha. And please, if you are struggling for a specific item, for a specific illustration, address it now. You communicate it to me kasi the more na hindi nyo ina-address yung issue, padagdag lang yan ng padagdag hanggang sa dulo. So this is 1/2, and then you know that du is by power formula, 1/2 minus 1, that's negative 1/2, then dx. All right? So you have du, we write this with the positive power. So dx all over 2 x raised to 1/2. Sorry, this is square root of x. Ay, gawin nating dx over 2 square root of x. So what do we need? What do we only need? That's dx over square root of x. So we don't want 2 there. So we just multiply everything by 2. We have 2 du is dx over square root of x. All right? Yeah. By change of variable, wala na namang papel. Sorry. So you now have integral of e square root of x, u. E to the u. Okay? That's e to the u. Then dx over square root of x is 2 du. Okay? That dx over square root of x will go along together, and that represents 2 du. That's 2, then integrate. So that's 2e to the u plus c. Or that's 2e to the square root of x plus c. All right? 13. You can cut me off, you can call my attention. Integral up. Can I proceed with the next set of example? And this time, our u is no longer, sige, one more. Say e. Okay. So there's already the 3x squared minus 1, the power of e. What do you think is the answer?
Sir, I think it's e raised to 3x squared minus 1 all over 6.
Okay, so that's 1/6. Where did you get that 1/6? You just multiply this 3 and 2 because the derivative of 3x squared minus 1 is 6x dx, and you already have this x, and then the dx, we just don't want 6 here. So that's why you get the reciprocal of that. You just write in front, and then you just copy the e function. Okay, then you add c. 14. E to the 2x plus 1 all over e to the x. Okay? So there's an e to the x on the denominator. Anong gagawin? You simply distribute e to the x each term inside. So you'll have e to the x. E to the 2x over e to the x is e to the x plus 1 over e to the x is e to the negative x dx. Right? And then when you integrate, you apply, the sum rule. So you have integral of e to the x dx plus the integral of e to the negative x dx. And this is e to the x. What about this? All right. Plus c. Paano pag ito ay may limit of integration? Say, negative 2 to 2. Negative 2 to 2. So, negative 2 to 2. Negative 2 to 2. So, remove natin yung c. So, you have e to the x from negative 2 to 2 plus negative e to the negative x from negative 2 to 2. So, you shall have, pero pwedeng isa ha, pwedeng ganito na lang. Pwedeng e to the x. Oops, control y, control y, control y. Ayaw na, control z na lang. Pwedeng ganito na lang, e to the x minus e to the negative x evaluated from negative 2 to 2. E to the x minus e to the negative x from negative 2 to 2. So you'll have e square minus e to the negative 2, right? Then minus e raised to negative 2 minus e to the positive 2. Close. And then what do we have? E square minus e to the negative 2 minus e to the negative 2 plus e square. So you have 2e to the 2 minus 2e to the negative 2. So that's the value of the integral of e to the 2x plus 1 all over e to the x from negative 2 to 2. All right? Okay. 15. What's the, let me see. Integral of e to the x plus 1 dx. The e is raised to e to the x plus 1. So what will be your u? Isa namang function yan di ba? Na e function lang siya na naka-raise sa function, then e to the f of x. So your u definitely would be the power of e. So aling e po, yung base niya, pinaka-base niya. So your u will be e to the x plus 1. Right? Now, from the usual substitution ng u, so from the previous examples, na from 1 to 14, ang inililat natin ng u is the power, yung power of e. But this time, you let u be the e function itself, no longer the power. Okay? Hindi yung power na lang ng e. It just so happened that this e function is a power of another e. That's e to the x plus 1. All right? So now, if you let u, tatandaan to ha, for the e function and also for the a function. Kapag ang u nyo is the e function itself, okay, so hanapan nyo lagi si dx ng katabing e to the x because you know naman that the derivative of an e function, hindi naman siya nagbabago. Laging ang derivative ng e function is e function, then nadadaglagan lang siya ng constant sa unahan. You get my point? Take the case of e to the 2x. Di ba ang derivative ng e to the 2x is 2e to the 2x dx? This is what I'm telling you. When you let u to be an e function, then si dx dapat laging may katabi na same e function. And it does not happen here. Sorry, this is not one. This is x. Okay? And it does not happen here. Kasi dx does not go along together with e to the x. But we can modify. Okay? It's an x. But we can modify this by applying the laws of exponent. You can write this of the form e to the x dx. So you now see that dx, meron na siyang katabi na e to the x. Alright? Saan galing yun? Ito, by laws of exponent. A, B, mali. A raised to X, A raised to Y is A raised to X plus Y. So, ibig sabihin, pwede niyong hatiin to and express this as product of e to the x and e to the x. And you have this. Now, from earlier, wherein u is e to the x plus x, so this is now e to the x na lang. Your u is now e to the x. And then when you differentiate, you have e to the x dx. And you see it right here. By change of variable, you now have e. What is this? Your u. What is this? Your du. Yeah, it's as simple as e to the u du lang naman pala yun. Okay? So you shall have e to the u plus c or e to the x plus c when written in the original variable. So that's e to the x plus c. Right? Okay. Question, clarification. I hope you can still focus on your sit. I know that the time is not favorable for learning. I mean, yung 3 to 6, medyo hindi na siya favorable for learning. I mean, much better pa rin yung morning na, anyway. And I hope walang nakakatulog. I'm fighting for, the bed is calling me. I'm just right side. I'm just, near to my bed. Okay. Shall I go on to the next set of example? Okay, one more.
Yes po.
What number are we? I think it's number 16. Integral up. That's integral of e to the x dx all over e to the x minus 4 to the third power. Okay. So again, you let u be equal to e to the x minus 4. So du is e to the x dx. So again, you see this dx that go along together with e to the x. And that represents du over, what is this? U cubed. Okay, and then we are now on the power formula. We now utilize I4 to integrate du over u cubed. Okay, and that would be what? Negative 1 over u square, 3 minus 1, 2, and then plus c. And then we write it back to the original variable. 1 all over 2 e to the x minus 4 to the second power plus c. Okay? 17. Ano pa bang form nito? Hey, what happened? Integral up e to the x plus x raised to e dx. Evaluated from 0 to 1. Oh, sige, okay. Let me see. 0 to 1. You have? Can you please evaluate the particular integral? What's the integral of e to the x plus x raised to e? Okay? That would be what? What is the integral of e to the x? Simply e to the x. What about this? What's the
X
integral?
to the power of a plus 1 over
Okay.
a plus 1.
Or you just need to add 1 here. Bakit kailangan mag-add ng 1 doon? Because this is constant. 2.7128 dot dot dot. Okay? This e, this is constant. So yung second term, the second term x raised to e, this is of the form u to the n, where n is e. That's why when you integrate this, you just simply add e to 1. Baliktad. You simply add 1 to e and then write it also on the denominator. Okay? And then you can now evaluate when x is 1. So you have e to the 1 plus 1 raised to e plus 1 all over e plus 1. Then replace x by 0. You're getting my point? Hello? I am just simply
Yes po.
replacing x by the upper limit 1. So e to the 1, you may not write it. O sige, sulat ko lang. Plus 1 raised to e plus 1 all over e plus 1. And then this time, replace it by 0. E to the 0 plus 0 raised to e plus 1 over e plus 1. You know that this 0 raised to anything is 0. You know that e to the 0 is 1. All right? And you know that 1 raised to anything is equal to 1. One more. 1 raised to anything is 1. So you have e, that's e to the 1, plus 1 over e to the e, sorry, 1 over e plus 1. And then on the second term, on the next term, you only have minus 1. Okay? And then you can stop there or you can simplify it by getting the LCD. E plus 1 times e, that's e squared plus 1. E times e squared is e squared. E times e pala, sorry. E times e is e squared. E times 1 is e. So this is e. And then this is, you just copy 1 and then minus 1. E times negative 1 is negative e. Then 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. This is plus 1. Okay? And then what happened? That would be, ano na lang na iwan? E squared. E squared na lang. Right? Yeah?
Apo.
E squared over e plus 1. And this is the value of this integral. Okay? One more. I'm still on e ha. Wala pa ako sa a. But by the way, kapag punta natin sa a, you will apply the same technique as in e. Kasi parehas lang naman sila ng form. Parehas lang yun ha. Yung form ng, di ba, a to the u du is a to the u over ln a. So, kaparas din siya nito. When a is equal to e, that's e to the u over ln e. Where ln e kasi is 1. Kaya biglang nawawala yung over ln kapag e to the u na siya. Kasi ln e is 1. So, kung ano yung natutunan nyo from example number 1 to 17, you can also apply it when I give you examples on a to the u ln a. And that would be next after this example. I just thought of this earlier. Tama ba yung naiisip ko? Could that be possible? 18. Say, sige, let me see. Negative 1 to 0 dy over 1 plus e to the y. Okay. Alright, sige. Alright. Ayan. Okay. Sir, sabi mo kanina earlier that when you let u, basically you will let u here be equal to 1 plus e to the y. Right? Tama? However, when you get the derivative, so si dy will go along together with e to the y, which is not here. Okay? So what are you going to do? So sir, lagyan natin ng e to the y. We multiply both numerator and denominator by e to the y. So e to the y dy all over e to the y plus e to the 2y. Okay? And it gets complicated because there are two powers of e. One is y and the other one is 2y. Okay? So ibig sabihin, I mean, when you multiply both the numerator and denominator by e to the y, it gets a little complicated at hindi natin na-achieve yung form na hinihingi sa atin. You get my point? Okay? So why do we need to do that? It's basically because we need this dy to go along with e raised to any function here, kung ano man yung applicable. Because this is an e function, we are integrating exponential function. And ganun lagi yung behavior ng e function. When you integrate it, dapat meron kang e function sa tabi ni dx, ni dy, ni dz. You're getting my point? You have to be very sensitive on that. Ibig sabihin, when you see this, and you know that form of the e function, ay parang hindi integrable kasi po walang katabing e function si dy. Okay? And kung siya ay ganito lang, it's easy. Okay? Madali yan. It will just give you an ln. Okay? Paano pagka hindi? Why did I give this to you? Wala pa tayong ln. Anyway. Kaganyan, you just simply multiply this by e to the negative y. Okay? Yung e to the y does not help us. So let's try to multiply it by e to the negative y. And then what happens? Negative 1 to 0. Then si dy will now go together with e to the negative y. 1 times e to the negative y is e to the negative y plus e to the y times e to the negative y is e to the 0. You just add the powers, y plus negative y, and that will give you 1. Diba? Kanina hindi umubra kasi e to the y dy over e to the y plus e to the 2y. Mayroon kayong dalawang form ng powers of e. One is y and the other one is 2y. Dito, isa lang, negative y. Okay? So we can now let u be equal to e to the negative y plus 1. And differentiating, you have du equals e to the negative y times derivative of negative y, which is negative 1. Then you simply affix dy. What do you see on the numerator? You only have e to the negative y. Di ganun ulit. Negative du is positive e to the negative y dy. So this is now written of the form negative 1 to 0 negative du, that's your e to the negative dy, e to the negative y dy, all over, what is this whole thing? That is your u. And then ano to? I by I 7, it's an ln. So that would be negative ln of u and then evaluated from negative 1 to 0. I7, integral of du over u is ln of u plus c. Then you now have negative ln of u, where u is e to the negative y plus 1, evaluated from negative 1 to 0. I will go up, Negative ln e to the negative y plus 1, negative 1 to 0. Okay. So that would be negative ln of e to the negative y plus 1 from negative 1 to 0. So you now have negative ln of e, yung e to the negative y, gawin nating 1 over e to the y. Para lang hindi awkward yung e to the negative 0, which wala namang e to the negative 0, di ba? So, e to the negative y, sinulat ko siya as 1 over e to the y. So, I shall now have 1 over e to the 0 plus 1 minus. Minus, this is negative, it will become plus. ln 1 over e to the negative 1 plus 1. All right. So you shall now have negative ln. You know that e to the 0 is 1. 1 over 1 is 1. Plus 1, it's 2. So that's negative ln 2. Plus, what am I going to do with this? Okay. Ganito na lang gagawin ko dito. ln e plus 1. Itinaas ko na lang siya kasi 1 over e to the negative 1. When you take the reciprocal of that, so that's e to the positive 1. Am I right? Diba?
Yes po.
Okay. When you take the reciprocal. So then, how can we simplify this? By laws of logarithmic function written on your module. Isinulat ko ulit doon. Actually, kinuha ko lang siya sa differential calculus module natin. Dinlagay ko sa integral. So this can be written as ln. This is preceded by plus sign. You write it on the numerator. This is preceded by minus sign. You write it on the denominator. And you're done. So that's ln e plus 1 all over 2. Kung ano mang value niyan. Okay? Then, we're now on the ln function. Any question, clarification? Bago ako mag I7, ibalikan ko lang yung I6. Please take this very seriously, lalo na itong mga ln function. When you reach differential equation, gamit na gamit yung ln function na yan. And then the e function, derivative, and the integral. Right? Again, we will just apply the same thing here for the a function. So 2 to the x dx is simply copy. And then you add c. Two raised to 3x dx. What do you think happened? Hey. Para lang, what did you do? If I ask you to evaluate, what are you going to do? If I ask you to evaluate, hold on. E to the 3x dx. What did I taught you earlier? Hello? Can you still hear me?
Magiging denominator po yung constant.
Okay. So you'll have 1/3 e to the 3x. So you can also apply it here. Okay. So you get the derivative of 3x, and that would be 3, but there's only dx here. So you have 1/3 in front. You have 1/3. Okay. Then copy. Then over ln 2. Then plus c. And you're done. You have 2 raised to 3x all over 3 ln 2 plus c. Integral of 2 raised to 3y, then 3 raised to 3y dy. What are you going to do? You look at the givens. They have different bases but similar powers. You have? Hey, you still there?
Yes po.
Very few are participating, ha. I don't know what's going on behind my laptop. It's up to you kung if you still want to listen or not. I just want to, you know, I'm just going to let the time pass na lang. Okay? Seems you're not, no. Okay pa ba kayo? You want to have a 5 minutes break?
Pwede po, sir.
Pwede po, sir.
Dinadigest ko lang po.
Hi, hello. You're still there? I'll just finish this at 5:50. Hindi pala, nag-break na tayo eh. So I'll end up at 6. Okay. Again, when you try to look at, hello, you still there?
Yes po, sir. Nandito
Yes,
po,
sir.
sir.
Yes, po,
Yes,
sir.
po.
When you try to look on the given, you have 2 raised to 3y, 3 raised to 3y. Okay. By applying the laws of exponent, the rule a b raised to x. So this is a raised to x, b raised to x. Okay. So you just multiply this 2 and 3. You shall have 6. You can write it of the form integral of 2 times 3 raised to 3y. So you have integral of 6 raised to 3y dy. And then following the form of number 19, so you have 1/3. Okay, 1/3. And then you just copy a to the u. Okay, and then L and A, and then plus C. Or you can write it back to the original form. That's 2 raised to 3y, 3 raised to 3y, all over 3 ln of 6. And again, by laws of exponent or laws of logarithmic function, you can still write this of the form 2 raised to 3y, 3 raised to 3y, all over ln 6 cubed. That's around 216. Right? That's 216. Or, sa pa, plus C, you have 2 raised to 3y. I am using laws of logarithmic function. All over 3. And then yung 6, gawin niyo siyang 2 times 3. So that's ln 2 plus ln of 3 plus C. Ibig sabihin pala, sir, we can generalize this form, okay? Whenever you have integral of say a raised to bx times c raised to bx dx, okay? So this is equal to a raised to a raised to bx, c raised to bx all over b ln of a plus ln of c. And then no, I should not be using c. Because this is plus c. D na lang. Then plus c. Okay. So that's the form. And then again, going back to ln, I7, that's integral of du over u, is ln of u plus c. You have integral of dx over x, that's ln of x plus c. Following this form, u replaced by x, so you just simply replace x here. Say 20 dx dy over y, so that's ln of y plus c. I put an absolute value here because of the property of the logarithmic function that the domain of this function cannot be negative. So dapat hindi to negative. That's why we are putting an absolute value here. Kailan po tatanggalin yung absolute value? If it's already a number, say ln2, you may not put an absolute value. Or what if there is a constant in front, say dy over 2y? So as simple as you just throw this out, 1/2 integral of dy over y. So that's 1/2 ln of y plus c. What if, sir, nasa ibabaw? You just do the same. You throw it out, then that what is left is integral of dy over y, and that's 2 ln of y plus c. 23. You have integral of dx over 3x plus 5. So this is totally different from the first set of examples because as you can notice, the denominator now contains, a function ax plus b. Ito ay simply xy lang, and then, yeah. So, we try to let u be equal to 3x plus 5, and then du is 3 dx. And then you have 1/3 du is dx. So this can be written as integral of dx, that is 1/3 du all over u. And that's 1/3. What is du over u? ln of u plus c. That's 1/3 ln of u. That's 3x plus 5 plus c. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, as you can notice from the previous examples, a rational function will give you an ln function as its integral if and only if the derivative of the denominator can be found on the numerator. Kapag ang derivative ng ilalim ay makikita nyo sa ibabaw, siya ay ln function. Okay? 25. Follow me on board number 6. So, integral of dx all over 4x minus 5. So, kanina 3x plus 5. So, that's 4x minus 5. So, that's 1/4. Okay? ln of 4x minus 5. Why? Because the derivative of 4x minus 5 is 4 dx. And there's already dx on the numerator. Alright? So, you can just avoid 4 by getting the reciprocal of it. And just write it in front. 26. Integral of x dx all over x squared minus 2. Let's change the variable. U is x squared minus 2. Du is 2x dx. What do you see on the numerator? X dx. So that would be 1/2 du equals x dx. So by change of variable again, so this is 1/2 integral of x dx, that's 1/2 du over, what's the whole thing? U. So that's 1/2 ln of u plus c. That would be 1/2 ln of u x squared minus 2 plus c. Okay. Again, you have to make sure that the derivative of this can be found on the numerator. 27. Integral of dx all over 4 minus 3x. That would be what? Derivative of this, negative 3 dx. There's dx, avoid negative 3. That's negative 3, negative 1/3, ln of 4 minus 3x plus c. Now, if there is a power here, 28, if 4 minus 3x is raised to any power, okay, hindi siya magbibigay sa inyo ng ln. Ito ay papunta sa u to the n du. Alright? Particularly, papunta siya sa du over u to the n. Hindi siya magbibigay sa inyo ng ln because may power yung 4 minus 3x. Integral of, say, dx. Ayan, yeah. Ito nang ibigay yung kanina. Dx e to the x all over 1 plus e to the x. So let u be equal to 1 plus e to the x, and du is e to the x dx. So this is of the form e to the x dx is du all over, that is your u. And then integral of du over u, that's ln of u, and then plus c. So you have ln of 1 plus e to the x plus c. Then we have 29. Integral of the square root of x. Could that be possible? Sige, okay lang. Square root of x dx all over 1 plus x squared of x. So we let u be equal to 1 plus x squared of x. Now, if you were not able to, to avoid derivative of product, you can just simplify this as 1 plus x raised to 3 halves. That's x raised to 1 times x raised to 1 half. You add the powers. And then you differentiate. Du is 3 halves. X, 3 halves minus 1 is 1 half dx. So this is square root of x. So you can write this as 3 halves square root of x dx. Okay? The only challenge lang naman sa inyo is hanapin lang yung coefficient niya kasi this leads you to an ln function. Kasi you notice that 3 halves minus 1, that's 1 half, and you see it as the power of x here. So ang challenge lang sa inyo is hanapin lang yung coefficient. If you were able to, to follow the rule. So that's 2/3 du equals square root of x dx. So this is 2/3 ln of 1 plus x square root of x. Let's see. That will lead you to du over u. So you have integral of y plus 4 over y minus 4 dy. Okay. What are you going to do? So once you notice that the degree of the numerator is equal or greater than to the degree of the denominator, then you can divide the fraction, or you can divide the numerator by the denominator. So you can divide y plus 4 by, and then let's see what will happen. Kasi this is not an ln. Why is it not an ln? Control y. Because when you let u be equal to y minus 4, du is simply dy, not this. Okay? All right? Or if you want to look for y plus 4, okay? Oh, sige, one way to do it. Let's see what will happen. If I let u be equal to y minus 4, then du is dy. Okay, so this is du dy. You have du, and then this is u, y minus 4. Then we need to look for y plus 4. So to look for y plus 4, I'll be adding 8 here to have y plus 4. So adding 8 here, so you have u plus 8 equals y minus 4 plus 8. So u plus 8 is y plus 4. What's the point of all this? When you change the variable, all the expression on the integrand shall be changed from the original variable to u. So you need to look for an expression that will represent y plus 4 in terms of u. Okay? An expression in terms of u that will represent y plus 4. So you will have u plus 8 here. Okay? So what's the new form? Integral of, you distribute u, each term on the numerator, u over u. Actually, this is a special technique. I just noticed it. That's why I can't help to mention this to you. But yung sunod na method, that's the one applicable for this form. But this is also okay. I mean, it just so happened that this is a special technique. And then you have integral of u over u is 1 plus 8 over u du. And this second term, as you can notice, will give you an ln function. Because this is u na lang siya, and that's 8. Sir, can you show that one to us po? So that's 1 du plus 8, you can throw it out, du over u. You know that the integral of du is u, plus 8, and this is ln of u plus c. And you write it back to the original variable. Okay? So you have u is y minus 4. Y minus 4 plus 8 ln of y minus 4 plus c. And then we reserve this one. And then I will present to you the next method. That's what I'm talking about earlier. That when the degree of the numerator is equal or greater than the degree of the denominator, then you can divide. So we will be dividing y plus 4 by y minus 4. We have y divided by y is 1. 1 times y is y. Then 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And then you subtract. So you have 0, and then this will be 8. So the new form, integral of y plus 4 over y minus 4 dy is now equal to the integral of the quotient 1 plus the remainder over the divisor. Okay? Mas madali to. Then you now have integral of 1 dy is y plus 8. You know that y minus 4, the derivative of this is dy. You see that on the numerator. So that leads you to ln y minus 4 plus c. So this is the answer. Now, when you go back to the previous solution, sir, parang different because of this minus 4. Okay. However, you notice that this is constant, negative 4, added to a constant c that will still give you another constant. Okay. So you can just remove that y minus 4 and then add it to that constant. Okay, plus c. All right. So that's y plus 8 ln y minus 4 plus c. I'll make this a little larger. Ayan. So parehas talaga sila. Sir, alin po, pag po ang final answer ko is mayroong y minus 4, will that be considered correct? You'll just get the deduction for not, for not noticing that a constant plus a constant is still another constant. You'll just get a deduction for that. Say, what number are we? 31. Hold on. Just open the light. Say we have integral of secant square theta d theta over tangent theta. Very obvious. Right? What's the derivative of tangent theta? It's secant squared theta d theta. So this leads you to an ln of tangent theta plus c. Integral of, say, 1 plus cosine y all over 1. No. I should be using y. Y plus sine y dy. So when you let u be equal to y plus sine y, you know that du is 1 plus derivative of sine y is cosine y, and you see this on the numerator. Right? So that will give you an ln. This is equal to ln of y. Y plus sine y, then plus c. 33. Ako na lang sulat. Integral of, say, sige, okay lang. Ayan. ln x over x dx. Let u be equal to ln of x du is dx over x. So we can now see that by change of variable, you have integral of ln x. ln x is your u, and then this dx over x will go along together to represent du. All right, diba? So you have this is ln x, so that is your u, and then dx over x is your du. And that will lead you to u squared over 2 plus c. It's a power formula. Then you'll have 1/2 u, wherein that's ln square x, then you add c. 34. Integral of, let me see, arctangent. Let's see. Arctangent of x dx all over 1 plus x squared evaluated from 0 to 1. Oh my. U is, I cannot let u be equal to 1 plus x squared because the derivative of this is not equal to arctangent of x. Okay? Di ba ganun yan? Pag naglilet kayo ng u, ang naiiwan sa integrand, yun dapat yung lalabas na du. Okay? So in this case, you cannot let u be equal to 1 plus x squared because the derivative of this is not equal to this. Okay? So what would that be? So du is arctangent of x. And then du, derivative of an arctangent, that would be dx all over 1 plus x squared. And you see it right here. So ito ay nasa form ng power formula, u du. Arctangent x is your u, then dx over 1 plus x squared is du. So you have u squared over 2 evaluated from 0 to 1. And then you have 1/2 arctangent of x. This was given to the problem set. Babaguhin ko na lang yung problem set. Square evaluated from 0 to 1 equals 1/2 arctangent 1, then square minus 1/2 arctangent 0. You know that arctangent 0 is 0, and arctangent 1 is pi. You have 1/2 times pi square. So that's pi square over 2. 35. Integral up. Say, from 0 to 1. Pwede ba? Sige, pwede. Cosine theta. No. Let's see, 2x plus 3 all over 3x plus 2 dx from, say, negative 1/3 to 0. Okay lang, sige. What do you want to do? You can divide, or you change the variable, and then the use substitution or algebraic substitution. If you want to divide, so you divide 2x plus 3 divided by 3x plus 2. So 2x divided by 3x is 2/3. 2/3 times 3x is 2x. Then 2/3 times 2 is 4/3. And then you subtract. So this will become 0. Then you only need to subtract 3 and 4/3. And that would be 9 minus 4, that's 5. 3 times 3, that's 9. Minus 4, that's 5. So that's 5/3. Then you'll have a new integrand of the form 2/3, then plus 5/3 all over 3x plus 2. Then dx from 0, negative 1/3 to 0. And then integrating, you have 2/3 x plus 5/3. And then since this is 3x plus 2, dx over 3x plus 2, right? And the integral of this is 1/3 ln of 3x plus 2 because the derivative of this can be found on the numerator except the 3. Okay? It's 1/3 ln of 3x plus 2 evaluated from negative 1/3 to 0. You have 2/3 0 plus 5 over 9 ln of 3 times 0 plus 2. Then you have minus 2/3 times negative 1/3 plus 5 over 9 ln of 3 times negative 1/3 plus 2. Then you have 0. Then you have 5 over 9 ln of 2. Because this is ln 3 times 0, that's 0 plus 2, that's 2. And then this would be minus, minus, minus. So that would be plus. Then 2/3 times 1/3, that's 2 over 9. And then plus, minus, so minus 5 over 9 ln of 3 times negative 1/3, that's negative 1 plus 2, that's 1. And you know that ln 1 is 0. So we have this. 5 over 9, final answer. 5 over 9 ln of 2 plus 2 over 9. Okay? On the quiz, on the problem set, on the major examination, I only accept, fraction. I mean, it's not that I just, it's not just that I don't like decimal. I just want to see how well you understand the forms and the expression. Okay, parang if you're using your calculator, I want the final answer to be, in natural display. I guess, yeah. -36. I think this would be the last. Negative 1. Yeah. Let me write the expression first. Kung pwede. Pwede ba? E to the 2x all over 1 plus e to the x dx. Okay. Evaluated from negative 1 to 1. Yeah. That would be the last. Pwede ba? Yeah, I think so. So again, sir, sabi mo kanina, whenever there's an e function, dapat si dx may katabi na e. So okay na po kami kanina when you give this to us, e to the x dx over 1 plus e to the x, and this gives you ln of 1 plus e to the x plus c. However, when you replace it by e to the 2x dx over 1 plus e to the x from negative 1 to 1, okay? Then what happened? So ano pong gagawin? Hindi na siya, it does not follow the rule that you are telling us. Kasi this is e to the 2x. This is e to the x. Sabi niyo po kanina, sir, yung dx should go along together with the same, okay? E function. So here, you let u be equal to 1 plus e to the x, okay? And then du is e to the x dx. But this is e to the 2x. What are you going to do? You break it down as e to the x, that give you e to the 2x all over. You notice that? Yeah, this one. Dx and e to the x, they go along together, and that is represented by du. So where are you going to get this e to the x? From your u. Okay, from here. So you say it's u minus 1 equals e to the x. And then what's the new form? Let me just cut it out, and then I'll go up. So you'll have integral from -1 to 1, then e to the x, this e to the x will be replaced by u minus 1, and then this e to the x dx is our du. Then all over, what is this? Your u. Or you can also divide, since, yeah, the degree of the numerator is larger than the degree of the denominator. Allow me to continue this process. So you have u over u, that's 1, minus 1 over u du. And this is equal to integral of 1 u minus 1 over u, or d over u is ln of u, and then evaluated from -1 to 1. And then you write it back to the original given. So you have u, that's e to the x plus 1, all right? Then minus ln of e to the x plus 1 evaluated from -1 to 1. So that's e to the 1 plus 1 minus ln e to the 1 plus 1. Then minus, I will now replace it by -1. E to the -1 plus 1 minus ln e to the -1 plus 1. And then to simplify, you have e plus 1 minus ln of e plus 1 minus, okay, let me just write it this way. Let me remove that grouping symbol. 1 over e, that's e to the -1, 1 over e. Then this is plus 1, so minus 1. This is minus, so plus ln. Then simplify this, 1 over e plus 1. Okay, and then I can combine positive 1, negative 1, that gives you 0. And then I can combine these two. You have e minus 1 over e, and then this is to be combined here. Okay, you have, let me just simplify this part. Negative ln e plus 1 plus ln, you get the, you write this as one fraction so that we can use the laws of logarithmic function. You get the LCDE, so this is 1, and then plus e times 1, that would be e, right? So maka-cancel siya later on. Now you have e minus 1 over e minus ln e plus 1 plus, paghihiwalayin ko na to, ln x over y is ln x minus ln y. Ln 1 plus e minus ln of e. And you know that ln e is 1, right? So then this will become 0. And final answer would have been equal to e minus 1 over e minus 1 because of this. Or you can write it as one fraction. E squared minus 1 minus e. And you're done. But you can stop here. E minus 1 over e minus 1. Okay? So I think I can stop there. And then